Hello everybody, Lord Almighty here. Today is Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, and as you can see, I have finally brought the kayak out to do a little bit of fishing. This will be the first ever fishing trip that I've taken on this kayak. Second time out overall. The first time was just to shake it down and get a feel for it, which I still really don't have a good feel for fishing from a kayak yet, but I imagine that'll come with repeated use. So here we go, first cast from the new kayak. Hopefully it's the start of something beautiful. So one thing I have noticed about fishing from this kayak, or maybe just kayak fishing in general, is that this thing has a very fast wobble. And what I mean by that is when it lists to one side, it does so very quickly. And me being inexperienced in kayaks, it kind of triggers that that balance instinct. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but basically when it lists to one side really fast, it's like a reflex. Your brain says, "Oh shit, you're gonna fall over," which of course is not the case. I mean, you know, I took this thing out last time and I rolled it on purpose. And it does take quite a bit to roll this thing, so I'm really not in any danger of going over the side if I'm just doing, you know, normal paddling and casting type activities. But still, it's that thing I got to get used to. I got to kind of train my brain to back off on that. It's just an added bit of stress to this unfamiliar way of fishing. But I imagine given time, I will definitely get used to it. Another thing that I'm finding I have to be worried about now is boat position, which is obviously something you don't even have to think about when you're fishing from shore or wading in a river. You gotta have good spatial awareness, make sure you know where your boat is most of the time, and then adjust your position as needed, which means sometimes you got to drop the rod and pick up the paddle. But again, that's something I feel like I'm going to get used to the more I do it. Another advantage of fishing with the kayak: you snag your bait in a tree, which I often do, you can just go get it. So perhaps over my lifetime of fishing with this kayak, it will pay for itself with the cost of lost lures. Oh boy, something grabbed that. That was definitely a pickerel, because I went to set the hook and there was literally nothing there. No fish, no lure, no nothing. Just bit me clean off. Alright. Well, just time to retie, that's all. There we go, fish on. Oh, he came off. Dang it. That was from that same place. It might have been the same fish. Tell you what, one thing I am really liking about the kayak is just the mobility. Oh, there was a hit. Dang it. Not just being able to get places that you can't when you're fishing from the bank, but kind of the speed at which you can get there too. Because I made the decision a little while ago to fish this side of the lake because there was more shade on this side. And it took me like 2 or 3 minutes of paddling to cross the lake. If I were on foot, I would have to spend, you know, probably a solid 20 minutes walking around the lake to get to where I wanted to be. So the fact that I can get to where I want to go a lot faster means I can spend more time fishing and less time moving. And in the end, isn't that what we all want? Well, the only places I've gotten any bites today have been along this shoreline here. So I am going to go back up to the start and work down it again. Oh, the winds have started swirling. That's just great. So no matter which way I'm going, the wind is going to blow me someplace I don't want to be. Isn't this magic? Well guys, fishing is pretty slow today, so I think I am going to head back into the launch. So I will see you in a couple of seconds, and we'll wrap everything up. Well guys, that's going to conclude the maiden fishing voyage of my kayak. Got a couple of bites, couldn't get any hookups, so I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer to christen this thing with some fish slime, but that's okay. Today was just about getting a feel for it and see what it actually felt like to fish from a kayak for the first time. And gotta be honest, I was uncomfortable. Not that the kayak was uncomfortable, it was reasonably comfortable to sit in for, you know, the couple hours I was fishing. But just being in a kayak, controlling it, fishing from it is definitely outside of my comfort zone. And it's something I'm just going to have to get used to. Fortunately, the best way to get used to something is to keep doing it. And I definitely intend to bring this kayak out again. So you guys can look forward to more kayak fishing adventures. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you on the next adventure.